Hi everyone, and welcome to the Bureau of Freedom. My name is Sasha, and this is episode 14. Today, I was in line at the supermarket. I had maybe 5 or 6 items on the conveyor belt while I patiently waited for the old woman ahead of me to pay for her groceries. Where I live, on the French Riviera, it's basically a retirement village. There are more old people than pigeons, and there are fucking millions of pigeons. So the ritual of the old lady ahead of me at the supermarket has become very familiar. First, she watches vacantly as the cashier scans through each of her items and places them in front of her on the counter at the end. When every single item has been tallied, then, and only then, does she open her shopping trolley, you know those canvas bags on wheels, those kinds of shopping trolleys, and slowly puts away all of her groceries. Then comes the awkward Mexican stare-off. The cashier looks at her expectantly. She looks towards them, not at them. Her gaze is infinite and takes in all of creation. Comprehension, however, eludes her. Eventually, the cashier tells her how much she owes. Ah, she understands, briefly, before gazing into the infinite again. Madam, whatever the fuck your name is, the cashier says, in French obviously, you must pay 27.05 euros. Ah, she understands, even brieflier. Shut up, I'll make up whatever words I like. She takes out her purse and stares at it in the same way a cat stares at a human's attempt to make said cat laugh. Eventually, the cashier simply takes the purse from her hands and rummages through it for the cash needed to cover her expenses. Transaction finally complete, the two engage in one of humanity's oldest dances. Do you want a receipt or not dance? This can take many hours. In the meantime, the middle-aged lady behind me at the checkout has seen that I have the overwhelmingly huge amount of 5 or 6 items and has politely, in as much the French are capable of politeness, asked if she can cut in front of me as she has only one item. I give her a completely neutral expression, and she adds, if it's okay with you. I shrug. Displeased with my lack of enthusiasm to allow her to waste my time to her own advantage, she looks at me pleadingly and asks, is it okay with you? Of course it's okay, I reply. She thanks me, hands her one item to the cashier, and proceeds to take about 5 minutes looking for money, as if it had never occurred to her that payment might be required. Just like all of those fuckers who arrive at the auto ticket barriers in subways and train stations and buses. They've been waiting for 20 minutes for the fucking bus, but only think to find their ticket when they're confronted with the machine? The middle-aged lady also completes her transaction eventually, thanks me again, and walks off with the air of someone who's going to go home to her husband and complain about the exceptionally rude man who had the temerity to not thank her profusely for allowing her to cut in line. Finally, the cashier rings through my 5 or 6 items. While they do so, I quickly get them into my carry bag, and when they ask for payment, I have my credit card ready. 30 seconds later, I'm out of there, having completely failed to waste anyone's time. Why do I put up with all of this? 1, I'm patient. And 2, patience is fucking hard, and you need to practice it constantly, and situations like this are where the practicing happens. By the way, I also wait for the little man at pedestrian crossings to go green before crossing too, even if the road is as empty as the zombie apocalypse. It's hard. Every cell in my body screams, get the fucking move on. But I recognise the opportunity to practice patience. Also, it bugs the shit out of the people around me. I once saw a grown man on the verge of tears because I was waiting patiently at the side of an empty road and he couldn't for the life of him figure out what I was waiting for. I've seen meth addicts less jittery. Trigger warning, I also stand still on escalators, allowing it to take me to the top or bottom at its own leisure. I'm aware for most people this is basically a crime against humanity, because patience is not one of humanity's intrinsic traits. If that it were, patience is the single most important skill you need for any and every human endeavour in existence. Every task has specific skills needed to achieve them, but they all require patience as well. You can't succeed in business without patience. It takes time to develop products, audiences, income streams, and so on. You can't succeed in sport or art without patience because it takes time to develop your skills and your craft. Not only does it take time, it takes a shitload of time. Most businesses fail within the first year because people give up. Most businesses that are left don't make a profit for 3 to 5 years. That's a long time to be patient, especially you have it in your head you want to get rich quick. The fact is though, statistically, making $1 million with a business within 5 years is quick. It's fucking quick. To understand the importance of patience, you need to understand that 5 years is quick. However, we're not built for patience. Patience in the wild is death. A lion can't sit around waiting for the plans she may have to get something to eat to come to fruition. She needs to get off her ass and eat immediately. Patience for our hunter-gatherer ancestors was the same, mostly useless. But in our modern world, patience is not just a virtue, it's a necessity. This is a world that can give you freedom through the vehicle of something as amazing as working on the internet. But there isn't a button you press on a website somewhere that gives you instant success, fame, money and power. There is a button you press that gives you all of that if you wait long enough and work hard enough. You don't walk into an entry-level corporate job and expect to be CEO by the end of the first week. But if you're patient, you can expect to be CEO at some point if that's what you want and are willing to work towards. I worked in corporate for over 20 years, but for only 2 organisations. I stayed 7 years at one company, 8 years at another. Do you know what happens if you're patient and you stay at a company that long? Most of you won't. Modern work culture expects people to stay only a year or 2 before trying to get paid more somewhere else. However, can you imagine what happens to those of us who watch all those others come and go over the 5+ years? We become some of the longest serving employees. New employees look up to us as those that know how everything works. We do know how everything works. Studies say it takes 2 years minimum before you even know how to do your job properly. It takes 5 to know the organisation inside and out. So 5 years of patience and you're the go-to guy who knows how everything works, where the keys are, where the bodies are buried. So guess what happens at your next pay review? You get paid more because you're indispensable, or they promote you, or both. Wait long enough and you'll be CEO through attrition. It's the same with most things in life. You stick at it longer than those around you, you'll learn more, you'll know more, and you'll get paid more for that knowledge. Sitting at a desk in an office, or on the beach working on your side hustle, or in front of your easel, or throwing a ball. Patience will get you to the top and get you paid.